That was you.
Oh, thanks.
And the Winterfest is me.
All right, we are going.
Yeah, Rob attempted to take both of those.
We're going live. Hey, gang. How you
Hey,
doing?
everybody. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Let me do the real test for what are you drinking now?
So,
How's
we
that
are
love for you?
doing it again. This is What Are You Drinking Now? I don't even remember what episode we're on.
I think it's like 79 or 80. It's one of those.
But
two.
we are doing the live tasting with you guys, the virtual tasting. So you guys have had a chance this weekend to come and pick up the beers that we're doing and the wine if you wanted. And I know we've got a sour and we have a
IPA for like the actual tasting.
and then we
side.
have the Pinot Grigio. I think we can do the wine last.
Yeah, but you have to be on the Insiders Club to know about our palate cleansers if you want the true level of virtual tasting.
That's right.
You have to personally know us. and ask
Sorry,
us.
Lindsay. I know we were late. We had a little extra business here at the shop right up until about 15 after 8. And
That's right.
took us a little bit to... I'm not going to blame Nick. Just saying took us a long time to set up than what we're planning on.
I like blaming Nick because I love his explanations. Yeah, we got busy, y'all.
I even wore a 100% polyester shirt for the evening. I'm really regretting the decision.
And
Because I feel like I'm wearing a trash
speaking
bag.
of, what am I drinking now? This is not my palate cleanser. This is just my after worker berserker here. This is the Brewdog Punk IPA. Still got it in. Come get it. It's one of the greatest session IPAs I've tried this year. Thank you, Columbus, Ohio. Thank you, Brewdog.
So we do have some new equipment. We got a new Zoom P4 pod track. Using it, liking it, and Brittany says they are blaming Nick.
Cool.
As
far
you
we like
should.
it.
As
We
you
can
should
do
always
some-
blame Nick.
We can do some cool stuff with this, and we're going to develop it further.
The benefit of our new system is each of us is individually mic'd. So hopefully we get a lot less clutter for you guys to listen to. And some of our undertalk and overtalk, you might actually start hearing these jokes.
You might actually hear our flatulence now.
I'm sure they look forward to that.
That's where you need that button.
Yeah. Anyway, why don't we take a quick start with one of the beers? Which one would you guys like to start with?
Can we start with me, you think? Or I haven't tasted.
I don't see why not.
Okay. Virtual tasters. We're going to start with our Untappd beer. And you know what? This is probably a great beer to just start with. I chose this. Basically, I'm a label pony, guys. I'm the first to tell you. This thing looked like a unicorn. And it is by one of our...
Look like a unicorn.
Yeah, it's a golden unicorn I got in my hand. In fact, there's
He's
several
a
brands.
label pony.
There's like... This just gets to the level of branding that we're like getting into right now. This again is Office TV. We are watching an episode of What Are You Drinking Now? We don't know what this episode's called yet, but we will.
We're at Golden Unicorn already.
And now Nick has the golden unicorn in his hands, which is brewed by Crystal Coast with the help of Epiphany.
I don't know. I'm
Malts.
leaning towards the
And
label pony
it is.
as Nick is a label pony as the
It's
title.
like the new title. We just got our title. I remember my first check-in by Untappd. So this is, for those of you who have been to our shop lately, we got the TV set up with our beer list. That's Untappd. I encourage you all who are beer drinkers and enjoy social drinking, or if you just want to be a loner and brag about what you drink, get Untappd. It's really fun. It can connect you with local venues like us, share their menu with you, and you can also toast your friends across the country.
Social media for beer drinkers.
That's right. For all of us isolating beer drinkers,
Which is pretty much what social media is, but now you can actually talk about what you're doing while you're doing it.
And Untappd is actually a very dynamic
10th anniversary of
thing.
Untappd, by the way.
We put this beer up on Friday to let you all know about the virtual tasting. By the close of business on Friday, Untappd had already liked our post for this beer and basically was getting people queued up like, hey, this is happening.
Yeah, and in the post, I didn't even link Untappd or anything in the post.
They found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I chose this partially just to get that whole level of interconnectivity going for our first virtual tasting. And not to oversimplify, but I know we've been saying it for virtual tasting.
You know, we
are
jumped.
going to put a menu of drinks out on our Facebook post before the weekend, and then you guys have a chance to buy them, and then we're going to share them.
I am hearing a lot of talking, and I'm not hearing a lot of the
Well,
canning.
well, first off, you know what we skipped doing was our palate cleansers.
We're so amped up. We're just so ready to go into it.
Okay.
I'm amped. The palate cleanser I've got tonight is the Cavendish Cowboy Water.
Not your favorite lager.
It's all right.
Are you saying there was 2 lagers you might have tried before?
Yeah, there was actually
Cool.
2 other lagers because I was going to
I
pick,
feel like that's my
and then I saw them in the cooler and I was like, oh crap.
So just new in the shop, flying high, the Aviator lager, Fuquay Verena. Don't say that wrong. This is part of their core series. Crisp, clean, light. This is just going to be a fun, easy drinker. 5.0%. I just wanted a really neutral palate going through this this palate tonight. And I wanted you guys to, my cleanse is I start drinking lagers instead of IPAs. I wanted you guys to have something fun and available for everyone to drink with me, okay?
What I will also like to comment on is the fact that when I brought the beer over to Rob, he just held his glass out and I would like to remind him that he does pay me sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm not pouring his beer for him.
Yeah,
right now.
that is a good notion because there is an option to donate to the show, and I want to be clear, none of the staff is paid to participate in the show, but Rob does buy us around. So
What is your palate cleanser over there, Josh?
We do this out of the goodwill of our heart.
Of our bellies.
Winterfest Lager from Edward Teach. Kind of like a wintry take on the German Oktoberfest Lager. Solid beer. Tastes like an Oktoberfest.
It was their Oktoberfest that they added different spices to, right?
I believe that was the story, yes.
Okay. And just not to bag on Cavendish too much. I mean, it's a solid little lager.
Of all
I mean,
the different Cavendishes that we had lately, Cowboy Water was not on the top 3. I love that Boho Pilsner.
The Boho Pilsner went quick. The Chesterfield
If
Porter.
I didn't almost single-handedly drink all of the porter, we might have seen Rob drinking that one tonight.
That's right.
And, but that was 100% my fault.
So again, I think we're gonna. I know Brittany and Bruce are joining us for the virtual tasting. So we are doing the Crystal Coast. Mm-hmm.
Hey, as we get our first
I remember my
taster
first
going.
check-in from collab with Untappd. Actually, this is a collab with Epiphany.
Yeah, the Malt House.
And that's in honor of Untappd, I guess would be a better of their 10-year anniversary.
Well said. Celebrating, yes.
I'll tell you what, I haven't even drank it yet, and I'm burping. It's a good sign.
So
poured a little
Brittany
hazy.
and Bruce, if you could just chime in on that.
Anyone with one, chime
Yeah,
in.
if anybody's got one, go ahead and.
Yeah, if you've got one, we'd love to hear from you. If this is something that you've had lately or tried at our shop, please let us know.
I'll tell you what, it smells better than this microphone does.
I don't expect...
Well, after you've been talking to that microphone for a year and a half, it doesn't surprise me.
We might have to get him his own windscreen.
So.
They're not called spitballs. They're called windscreens.
So this is coming across really, for me, just a classical sour.
Yeah, I just want to touch on aesthetics a little bit. It's a very cloudy. This is beyond haze. This thing is straight clouded. I mean, you don't really see through it. And that looks like that's coming at me in 2 ways. And I'll let maybe Josh explore that a little more.
So Brittany's going to say she likes sours, and this is not a favorite of hers. So
When they come at you from 2 ways, it means that you like it one way, but they came from a different way.
Brittany, I feel you. This definitely, I think you and I talked about this. This was going to be a lighter sour in terms of just how strong its flavor is, and that it was going to be little touches of fruit, and then really just focusing on some of that sour flavor itself.
yeah, I get you, Brittany. She said like a glass of juice. I get grapefruit juice.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's a little bit of like I hate to say it, but like a hazy IPA touch going on with this.
What I'd say it is it's lightly kettle soured, and I'm going to have to agree with Brittany on this one.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, it's got definitely like this grapefruit juice vibe going with it. But I do have to say,
It's not especially bubbly.
To me, it's more classic sour 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't have... It's, remember, sours weren't always
If somebody said,
the
hey,
rage.
I got a
So
Belgian sour
it's
for
like
you.
it's like the OJ, the original juice.
Yeah, sours weren't all the rage 10 years ago, and we weren't getting all these flavored sours and, cotton candy this and whatever. So it kind of harkens back to me to an original sour.
I get
The OJ, the original juice.
before sours got fruited up, they were the beer that tasted like fruit before people fruited the beer. And that's, I'm reminded of those classic sour tones. Then it gets into this fruit or this other stuff. Reread that label again. What is this?
This is sour ale with Caruba.
What the is Caruba? It sounds like a fruit
I don't know.
named after an island. It's like if you took Cuba and Aruba and put them together.
It's not that poisonous tree, is it?
I would look it up on my phone.
the
but my
one
phone's
in
being used.
Ohio.
I would look it up on my phone, but my phone's being used.
Bucks.
Oh yeah, no, I'm polite enough to not pull my phone out when we're doing the podcast, guys.
You got to get a stand like this so it looks like you're just like focusing on your beer.
Now, if my phone rings, you'll hear
Can
it
you look
because I
at
forgot to
Aruba?
mute it. But
Curuba.
Josh, while I'm looking up the Caruba, can you talk a little bit about what's going on SRM visual wise?
All
What
right,
am I
so,
knowing about the beer
I mean,
just by looking?
It's definitely light on the SRM scale. I mean, it's a very, very light colored beer. It's hazy. There is flocculate. There is stuff floating around in this.
Brittany says it's a flower. Bruce says it's passion fruit. They just Googled it.
There is such thing as Caruba fruit.
So if it's passion
It looks
fruit,
like a dragon fruit or
why don't you just call it, passion fruit?
It looks like a dragon fruit, but then what I'm seeing in the pictures is something that's actually dried on the tree and looks more like Jamaica. Have you guys had that? It's like a tamarind.
You're making words up again, aren't you?
No,
Jamaica,
tamarind.
tamarind.
Tamarind? Oh, no. Tamarind's good.
All right, you made one word up then. Jamaica or whatever it is.
Jamaica.
Jamaica, yeah.
It's likely the word
Yeah.
that we mistaken when we named Jamaica.
Okay, well, aside from the world history lesson that we just sat through, because Nick is actually a fountless, endless fountain of knowledge is actually what I meant.
I kind of like foundless.
He's
A fountless
foundless
of knowledge.
ent of knowledge.
So
I like that. Well said, Josh. I don't know. Drink it with some friends. Check it in. Get your badge. Get more if you like. It's not our best sour, but it's a great introductory sour. That's what I get with it.
And if you're looking for just a sour, I mean, just nothing special, nothing,
Drinkability is
nothing.
clean.
I will say
I
that
can pound it.
looking on Untappd, I don't believe Crystal Coast is the only brewery to make this specific beer either.
So I agree. I don't think they're the only ones to make the. I remember my first check-in. I think that's kind of a generic label for this 10th anniversary for Untappd.
I will say, from having worked at a brewery and doing collaborative brewing, basically, if you stand in the brewery when the beer is being made, you can put a claim on being a part of it.
Say a word, get a third. I think that's what the music industry says.
Yeah, it's
When it comes to writing
effective.
songs.
Effectively that. I'm not saying that's what Crystal Coast did, but I'm also just going to go ahead and put it out there that when you try and check this beer on Untappd, be prepared to actually have to type in Crystal Coast.
Yeah, because I think there was 5 or 6 that came up when we put in.
There were definitely a few. And
Now, did you see if that was all 10th anniversary?
it was the exact same label.
Well, I'm just wondering if that was there was one for, I remember my first check-in 9 years. I remember my first check-in 8 years. You know, you see what I'm saying?
I think you're grasping at straws.
Because the 10 years is right here on the label. I'm just, we might want to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to look into. And
I agree, Brittany. Good summer sour. It's right there. It came out though in the fall, in the winter.
If I went over to your house,
2020 was the year of
And-
delayed release.
That's true too.
AOE was slow with labels at first, if you recall. There was
that's a good one.
A few brewers got stuck with beer kegged up that they wanted to can.
If I went over to your house and you offered me this as a beer that I would drink at your house, I would not be mad at you.
No.
No, I'm
At all.
yeah.
So this is a great share. And that
And-
might be all part of the social aspect of what they're doing.
Now, this is a 550 60-ounce pint.
So it is a little pricey on the price point front, but I mean it is a collab brew, and it is done with Epiphany malt. Is Epiphany from North Carolina, or where is Epiphany malt from? Is a good question. And how do they do that? Is it all American malt?
Isn't that out on the Outer Banks?
I thought when you told us that there was 3 locations to the brewery, that we figured out that one of them was like maybe their malt house or their, that it's like that inland.
I'm pretty sure malt doesn't grow out this way.
No.
Yeah, so if you had an inland
We're talking
location, even though you're Crystal Coast
Yeah,
Brewery,
we're talking about Crystal Coast having 3 locations.
didn't they have something
Yeah,
in,
Crystal
like,
Coast
New
has the
Bern
3
or-
different locations, but I know that Asheville's been really heavy on like pushing the malt scene up that way,
so there
especially
could be
the
a malt
Yadkin.
house.
So I mean, it would be really interesting to look into the Epiphany side
Alright.
of the equation
I guess that's my job
and what
tonight.
they've contributed to everything. And I think that the malt side of it is far more important than the rest of this beer, because as soon as we can become self-sufficient in growing malt and stop relying on Germany and England to send us good malts, then we are happy.
So
That has been the knock on American craft brewing and amateur brew is that we are using basically DMEs or condensed malts that are foreign malts.
Or just like actual malts from some other country.
Yeah.
You know, like the hop side, we've got nailed.
am I the only one that found this one's easy enough to drink that I finished mine?
No.
Nah.
All right. We're going to move on. So we're going to move on to the IPA. So let's go ahead. I know if you're at home, you probably still have a decent amount of beer left.
Durham, North Carolina.
Should we do the IPA before the...
Just going to let you know, Epiphany craft malt is Durham, North Carolina.
Okay, sweet. So North Carolina based. So a lot of the breweries doing it probably were based out of North Carolina.
Small batch malt house in Durham.
Which makes a lot of
Regional
sense because Untappd is North Carolina based.
right.
Whoop, whoop.
Wilmington.
Do you think we should do yours before mine?
Which one do you have again? The
Mythic
Modern
World?
Times?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to...
All right, cool. If you're down
It's
with
gonna
it.
wreck
I
anything.
remember Modern Times being pretty well balanced.
Yeah, I don't think it's
and
gonna wreck
party
anything.
friendly.
Brittany's already jumped ahead. She
Yeah.
does not have any sour left. She says the IPA is delicious.
Okay, which Brittany got won over by an IPA we have on tap in the house. She did not think she was going to love the Rosé Brut IPA that we have on tap.
I have not tried that yet. I'm going to have to try that.
I
more.
served up a pint, and those two were like, "Can you split a pint?" I was like,
Is this
I
one of
know
those
how to do
moments
that."
where we just tell Brittany to show up with a microphone?
Well,
Watch out, she might.
with our new device, we do have the ability to set up guest interviews and things like that, and that's a process we'll be looking into.
Oh, yeah. Oh, call-ins.
Yeah, call-ins. So
Brittany
could be lots
just
of fun.
loves the rosé.
Ooh.
Yeah. Karuba, guys, I didn't really get a definitive answer. It grows everywhere from Colombia to the Caribbean. It's something like, they call it, the common words for it are like banana passion fruit. It's also very closely related to the carob. And so I'm really wondering if there's like a whole connection there.
Which, by the way, guys, this is my selection of beer tonight. And if you watch our show, it's probably been at least 20 or 30 episodes since I picked an IPA.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
and-
My man.
And Bruce says this one is far better than the Thundera from last week.
He was not a fan.
Which I think we kind of panned it a little bit as well.
I think we were hoping for more.
The Thundera was a little bit disappointing.
But this is also Modern Times, same brewery.
Same brewery, but I can tell you right away from the nose on this, When I'm drinking an IPA, this is far more what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Right on the
verges
nose.
on skunky. It's got a little liminess, but the it's not grassy. It's like pininess with skunkiness.
It's like a wet pile of grass that's been sitting in the corner of my yard for a minute.
Like, oh, you raked that pile of leaves.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't moving those.
So that is very interesting. For me, that's like front end. I get this pine, overwhelming pine, but then like
tip. Almost.
Yeah, but then back end I get a little bit of licorice, like black licorice breathing out.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of caught that on the nose, and I just kind of wanted to see what spice tones. It's like where I always talk about that.
It's IPAs like this that make me miss IPAs. You know, like when I get like all the crazy range of flavors and aromatics that you can get.
Wow,
that sits on the belly just really pleasant too. I gotta say that.
It does not sit heavy. It does not sit bad. It goes down smooth, and it makes me want to.
I'm gonna throw this out for a pairing.
Another
I
sip.
tried some of Josh's rice noodle seafood, kind of an impromptu spicy Vietnamese dish Josh threw together. This thing pairs perfect with that.
Yeah, tilapia, shrimp, rice stick.
I can see all that.
Yeah,
Man, yeah. Bruce and Brittany, did you get the pine needles on the front end and a little bit of licorice? You know, as you breathe out.
You know what? I almost get like a little bit of lemon head in the middle,
like the candy.
I got a little more like a black lime. We talked about that flavor, but I think those are so relatable. Candy, lemon, black lime. It's like this sweet end with like the sour parts muted, but you still get the full flavor of that citrus fruit.
But I also get like that good bit of like herbaceousness.
Yes.
You know, almost like eating thyme. Have you ever like? Because we always cook with thyme, like where.
When you harvest thyme, it gets really oily.
If you've been a cook, you've probably done something with thyme, and I'm not talking about the one that you're waiting to go away. So you
we like to cook with dried thyme a lot, but this has a fresh like
Thanksgiving
lime thyme
turkey
taste.
there's a song written about it.
parsley, sage.
rosemary, and thyme.
Well, I could leave the rosemary out, and I'd be fine with that. And parsley doesn't taste like anything.
Honestly, I thought that was more about the dating scene on 82nd Street in the Upper East Side.
Parsley just looks pretty, but it's not worth anything.
Brittany says herbaceousness is a great way to explain it, Josh, and Bruce says the pine notes definitely.
Yeah.
But
Which almost gets me thinking. You know when you're going to make pesto, and the first thing you do is before you involve the liquid ingredients,
The pine
you just
nuts.
like take the pine nuts and the basil leaf, and you just start chopping.
You're talking about the
When you
pinoles?
first start that. Yeah, that's like what this reminds me of.
Like the pie. Ooh, the
Like
nutty.
right
the
before you
nutty
go in
pie.
with that olive oil, you've got that stuff pulverized, and you're ready to like start
Like that big nut from the pine.
that paste that you develop right before you make that pesto.
Pasty nut right before the pie.
You got it. That's the one. Clearly spelled out.
Josh.
This ought to really help our viewership.
Oh,
Absolutely, yeah.
Please go ahead. Tell me, what are you drinking now, Josh?
No, that thick, nutty flavor of the pine.
That's
Absolutely.
I think we just lost two people. No.
If by lose them, you mean they're on the ground rolling around laughing? Yes.
So yeah, I'm I think with the Mythic World, Modern Times kind of, in my opinion, redeemed itself off of the Thundera last week.
This is a damn good beer.
Yeah, I'm digging this.
My only
Forgive
question,
my friend.
And it's an IPA, and I'm digging it.
my only question is, Rob, do you have a corkscrew?
I sent Josh on a.
Oh, I completely failed on that one.
You sent Josh on an errand in here before the show.
I was setting up the equipment. And he
let
was
me
getting
talk to
glasses.
Steve.
Dude, just so you know.
I'll get Steve
Just
on
so you know, I did 6/7 of that job.
Steve.
6
I got-
seconds.
All the glasses and none of the corkscrews.
Oh, Lord.
Actually, that would be 11/12.
I actually really like. I like this idea, the 6/7. I did 6/7.
Oh, you're gonna need to-
I did 6/7 of tonight's work, and then Josh went back and made an antipasto tray. And let's see, last night. Oh no, it's that faded antipasto tray they want at closing time, isn't it? Hey, all I gotta say is thank you to my team. Y'all back me up. That goes for Ashley, Matt, and Josh. Thanks, guys.
Which, by the way,
I'm
if you
chopped
want
liver.
an antipasto tray late at
You
night,
gave up
please
your
please
shit.
have
You're
patience.
done.
I'm done.
You're the man.
Done. I just get to sit around and drink
In your office. Do you have your own chair in your office?
I have a very comfortable
This is
chair.
the first time I sat down today in here.
I have a very nappable chair in my office.
Robert, I was telling you about that day that I was up here. I'm like, oh man, you're working on a Sunday. Why don't you get the people you pay to do that for you?
Yeah, Josh got drunk on a Sunday. Followed me around the shop while I was cleaning up. Tell me
Isn't
how
that awesome?
Tell me how I need to have the peons work instead of me. Well, today I got one back on him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now I work here.
He wasn't even a
so
peon when he did it. That was the best part. He was really a peon.
Definitely, always be careful of what you say, because that will come back to haunt you.
Every time, actually. And whether you want to be careful of it or not, just understand it will come back. Yeah. And my buddy told me this back in the day. You just say yes.
Hey, so quick question. Oh, there it is. Josh, hit it from me.
I told you I did 6/7 of my work. I did not bring the.
It was behind the computer, and
I brought you the glass. I just didn't
I
bring
just
away
saw
to
your-
get the
I just saw
wine
you
open.
two up there, and I didn't see this over here. So
I figured you had a pen. We could pop the corkscrew down into the level.
Oh, remember last time I did that, right?
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd do it.
Just start to solve the samplers and then we'll move on from there.
Samplers. Yeah, I'll put.
I know.
I'll pour my sampler.
You gonna top me off or?
Let me finish pouring my sampler.
I think the top off with the wine is like a sign of like what's gonna happen next.
I think.
Do you want topped off there, Josh?
Well, I feel wrong, but
Do
I
you?
don't. I don't feel like I'm the one that should pour it.
I'll make it up to you.
I'm.
But I will explain what I did. I poured the sample of wine into the widest part of the glass and no further above. And my reasoning is I'm a little more aggressive with my sampler than I
Brittany
am
wants
just
to
a
know
glass
if
of
we'll
wine.
bring a glass of this wine over to her house so she can taste it with
Brittany, it
us.
was $13. You had a chance.
Yeah. That was kind of part of the virtual tasting, Brittany.
Alright.
And
Well, when I told her to get a bottle of wine too, she just flicked her hair at me and moved on.
Yeah, that sounds like Brittany. I can see that. All right, so
Just flicked her bangs and moved on.
we'll give you 7 minutes and 47 seconds to get here and knock on the front door.
but we're not going to hear.
We don't even hear when our ride shows up. Are you
Okay,
kidding
so
me?
Knock on the back door.
Yes, Josh and I do get a ride to
All right.
and from the show.
So the wine tonight is the Barone Fini Pinot Grigio from Untappd, right? Untappd? I'm
it's
sorry.
Val. It's
Valdegé. I'm sorry.
This is an important thing because we have some regular customers who didn't know this is something they picked up on and actually have a preference for. But we run a very similar value-driven Pinot Grigio, but it's not Valley. It's actually a slightly different zonal. It's in the same region, so we're talking zone, altitudinal, blah, blah, blah.
So the reason I did pick this one was in case we did have people that wanted to join in on the wine tasting part of this show, which Brittany didn't want to the other day, and obviously now she wants to because she wants to feel like she's part of the crew.
Good news. Good news. We got plenty of bottles.
I picked this just because it's one of our best-selling wines that we carry.
That's
we
right.
sell
Watch
a
this.
lot of it.
Rob, when was the last time we ran out of Barone Fini?
The last time we ran the distributor out of Barone Fini.
And what was the cause of that distributor being out of Barone Fini for us?
Because they couldn't get any because of
Because the
COVID.
Atlantic Ocean was not shipping.
The Atlantic Ocean was shut down. But we made sure we got our Barone Fini first.
drank North Carolina out of this wine, so just put that out there.
So yeah, we have this in stock in plenty. When I get below 2 cases, I order 2 more cases.
We did, we have, we will. This is a steady here.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted to do the virtual tasting with everybody, just because it's easy enough to get a hold of for everybody. This is also it's Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio is one of the easiest white wines for American wine drinkers to get into?
I get a lot of orders. White wine by glass, guys. What's the most popular in here?
Pinot Grigio.
As much as people love Lola, and I'm not going to insult any Lola drinkers right now, but Pinot Grigio by far is wine by glass, our most popular order, followed by Cab, probably.
It's easy. It's uncomplicated 90% of the time. You know, like it's a solid bet. Like if you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know what they've got, and you just order a glass of wine, Pinot Grigio is a solid way to start.
I do feel like as I'm drinking Pinot Grigio, I still feel like I could take a sip of either of these beers. I could eat food. I could not eat food.
So yeah,
I could drink a red wine.
I view it like ordering a Yingling at a bar. Like I don't know. I don't really know what they've got to offer.
I don't know
and
that
the
I'm
line's
ever
kinda
feeling
thick,
like ordering a Yingling at the bar.
I don't want a Bud Light. I want something a little bit craftier, and I just like I'll take a bottle of Yingling while I figure out what I want.
so
You know,
I mean, I don't want to say Pinot Grigio is the introductory or lower end level of wine because it's not. I mean, there's a lot of complexities that can come through different Pinot Grigios. It's to me, it's one of the easiest to pick out the flavors though.
Yeah, so in those flavors, what jumps right away to me is fruit.
Yeah, and
I'll
apple.
be totally honest, yeah. So, what Rob just said is very to the point that I wanted to get to.
I think you're going to go towards the apple orchards.
No, the apple thing here being that ordinarily in restaurants, the most popular wine by glass is Chardonnay, which would classically describe it in Apple Town. But this, having Barone Fini in-house, makes Pinot Grigio by far like one of our most popular choices. Is it because it encompasses some of that fruit that people like with Chardonnay in a much more approachable and crisp format?
I think the crisp format is probably good there. I think the reason that Chardonnay might be one of the bigger wines in restaurant by the glass sales is because of the big butter craze that we went through in the late 2000 to 2012 period, where everybody wanted big butter Chardonnay wines.
Well,
that's all the ladies drank.
If you ask my mom if she wants a glass of white wine, her answer is Chardonnay or champagne.
which I'll tell you, like Pinot Grigio to me for like a quick off the cuff order is a far better bet than just a Chardonnay. Like if you're gonna off the cuff order a glass of wine, I would always go with Pinot Grigio over
Now
Chardonnay.
we do have
That's true. I feel like a little discussion should ensue if somebody says, "I'm just looking for a Chardonnay." I'm like, "Oh, just."
Chardonnay was awesome because it was so easy to pair with food. When you have like the heavy butter,
That's the second part too. And I was
when
gonna
you, when you
get to
have that heavy butter
Okay, there we go. That's the follow up. Yeah.
associated with it, because we did go through the butter bomb phase, and
Especially restaurant food.
Rob and I butt heads on this all the time because I am a butter bomb freak when it comes to Chardonnay.
in the beginning. I was too, but it's like hazy IPAs.
You get
have
burned
so
out
much of them.
after a hot minute.
Yeah.
So, and then you like start finicking about like what kind of butter, and when you start doing that, you go back to like no butter.
But like buttery Chardonnay, there is no such thing as a
But
hot minute. That's
this-
like a cool
This
45
Barone
minutes
Fini,
to an
like,
hour.
So it's like I'm sitting here, I'm smelling it, I swirl it, so I get that like fresh green apple.
Yeah.
I get
There's something I'm not gonna throw right out there, and I want to see if you guys get to it.
I get a little salinity on the nose. I also get not
salinity-
necessarily green apple on the nose, but I get like a little bit of apricot and pear.
Are you guys getting any nuttiness out of this once you get in past that fruit? Not like a really dense tree nut, but more like just like hazelnut kind of touch. Maybe filbert. Like
What I would
Are you
say
talking about the nose or palate?
it's like in the retro. In the
on the palate, like with the retro nasal, like I'd say it's more of like a Brazil nut, kind of oily.
That's why I was at with the cashew.
It's more of an oily nut.
You really
that
got a
I'm
theme tonight,
tasting.
don't you? And that's. Feel free to
just
comment on
had
Josh's
to-
theme.
Just had to clarify before I said that out
So
loud.
one of the reasons I brought up the apple orchards earlier was a lot of the grape, the wineries, in that area particularly of Italy, used to be Roman apple orchards.
And which would make sense, Val. Okay, we're talking. If I actually looked into this because I was kind of curious. Alta Adige, especially within this region, Val versus Alta, and there's word we found that was for the really high up Alta. Like so, there's like within the region they name different parts, and there's different control for the wine based on your altitude. Basically, how high up in the Adige Mountains you're going. These are real steep mountains. They're the mountains at the foot of the Dolomite. So there's a very unique type of granite that is washing down into this valley. And depending upon what altitude you're at, that granite is in a different stage of breakdown, and it's combined with different growth, basically, which is going to comprise then different organic material, which is then in that dirt, and that's your terroir. So as you descend from the Dolomite to that Adige, and then ultimately to the heart of Venetia, is this transformation, how quickly as you descend altitude, your terroir is going to change its grape.
Did you just say Dolomite?
I did. It's one of the few wines where we get to say that.
Wasn't he like a hero from the 70s?
Yes. It's also the place where the hardest granite in the world grows.
So he's a hero from the 70s.
Yeah.
The hardest granite.
Hard as
That'd
rock,
be-
baby.
And
Yeah.
So-
if you want to know what Josh is talking about,
No, I don't want to know what Josh is talking about.
then text Josh. If you want to know what Nick's talking about, he'll continue. I'm just talking about altitudinal zonation, guys. But more than just the weather effect, specifically here, altitudinal zonation, because of the proximity to the sea and the hardness of the mountains, basically every 1,000 feet you go down or every 100 meters is like a whole nother flavor plateau. This is at the bottom of the valley. This is collecting all that apple flavor.
So what I want to also ask you, so Pinot Gris, which is basically Pinot Grigio, it's a hybrid
French
size.
stole the grape and mutated it.
Yeah, it's kind of a hybridized version of Pinot Grigio. Best place in the U.S. to grow Pinot Gris.
We like Colombia. A lot of people really like Colombia. We had that nice gravel bar.
And what was
There's
grown
others.
there before the vineyards?
That's right.
Apple
It
orchards.
was apple orchards on top of columnar basalt and granite. With a deep river valley, canyon walls, steep declines.
So
and
with northwest climate feeding
and
right in.
lots of Dolomite.
Well, that's where I'm going to differ. The granite doesn't show the same way on the east slope of the Cascades that it does with the east side of the Alps. It shows differently. It's different rock geologically,
Nick
and that's where
may
you're going
have
to get
been
your
there. I don't know.
permeations. It's a lot more basalt.
It's
lava flows.
It's more basalt, less Dolomite.
It breaks
Not that
down
way.
faster. It was brought up quicker. It's more diastrophic. It's more catastrophic, less diastrophic land formation, which means that your minerals are
He's
going to break
making up
down
words again.
faster and create more
I
different
call him on it
permeations.
all day
So
long.
it's more volcanic rock than metamorphic rock.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Extrusions versus protrusions.
Well,
yes.
why didn't you say that like he did the first time?
Because all of this is true. It takes all of that to get to what he said.
Yeah, but no one understood the all.
Listen, she's been asking me that for years.
Let
of which, I am gonna
let
do
it
the
be
topper.
known
This wine's that
it
good.
does not take all of that to get to
So
that.
yeah, we're discovering real quick that this wine is very easy to drink.
Well, since you're standing up.
And I mean, there's nothing offensive about this wine to me.
I feel like there's a theme going with each of these choices tonight. That this is like the least offensive taste.
Nick, I can top you off.
you know,
finish the
that's
bottle.
enough wine for me.
Here you go, Nick.
I got beer.
Since you're over there.
I love wine, guys.
I got
but
a microphone in front of me.
Everybody knows Nick's good with a glass of wine. That's good.
Yeah, no. Again, going back, this wine There's nothing offensive about this wine to me. It's very easy to drink. No wonder it is. Again, I'm trying to avoid the introductory wine for American drinkers.
I don't know that
But
I would. I don't
very
think
easy.
I can label this as introductory.
No.
Because it's not really.
No, and it's a $13 bottle. It's lower end on our. We do have some. What we have 30.
Our Pinot Grigio range, I think, starts at 10 and then could go right into the. Do we have a $20?
Well, we have a Pinot Gris. I think the gravel bar is
Okay, yeah.
But so we can go up and down. The spectrum here, but I don't have a problem drinking this. It's easy to grab a couple bottles and put them down.
And I
It's-
should. And correct me, Rob did specify with the answer to that question, that lead in. He did say in America. Everybody knows the best place Pinot Gris is right in the home. It's another format for white bourbon.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I would say that Italy makes a better one, but
A Pinot Gris. I want to try an Italian Pinot Gris now that you.
no, it's called Pinot Grigio.
Yeah. We agree on this. Cool.
We Grigio.
We agree.
Yeah. All right, guys. On that note,
Nick and Josh finally agreed.
Let's
We
go back.
finally Grigio on something.
Let's go back and hit our ratings. Why don't we start with the
I remember my first check-in.
the Crystal Coast Epiphany.
Let me say I barely remember my first check-in.
Do you even actually remember it?
Like I faintly. I barely remember this beer, so.
So just as a reminder, this is the 10th anniversary Untappd tribute. It is $5.50 a pint.
Oops.
And Nick, this is your beer. Why don't you lead us off on it?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't have anything negative really about this beer. This was a sour. It was an ale. It was good. The label was lots of fun. Possible show title. Nick's the label pony. I did it. I bought in. I checked it in. I got my
Definitely
badge. It was fun. It was cool. I felt a part of even more than just what's going on right now, and then the idea that this was inspiring what's going on now. Great party beer. I'm gonna give it a 1-4.
Okay.
So it gets a thumbs up, but the other one is not all the way up.
All right, so
Cool.
I'll go next, I guess, since you have the next beer. For me,
Okay, cool.
So-
yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
Go,
Yeah, all right, I'm glad you're okay with that.
yeah, okay. All right,
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
Sound effect.
So again, Crystal Coast Epiphany, Malt House, and and it is the tribute to Untappd's 10th anniversary. So I really think that this is a throwback sour. I think they did it in a style that they probably pulled up they may have pulled up a 10-year-old recipe for their sour. Crystal Coast makes some great sours. We know this. We've had them before. We've said they do. I think maybe they pulled up a 10-year-old recipe and wanted to do just a basic sour.
Rob's idea fits within the title.
So I think that I'm going to go 1.5.
Woo!
I may have gone 1.6, but I'm a little pulled back on the $5.50 price tag.
All right.
I think if it were in the $4.75 range, it'd be much easier to palate.
Cool.
However, it was an easy drinking beer.
Yeah.
But
So-
I do want to stress the party friendliness, drinkability. It's not a bad beer.
And I would really have liked to have had this during the summer.
Yeah.
Brittany brought it up earlier. This was great. This would be a great summer sour.
Honestly, for me, that's sunny September. It's just got this neutral fruit, sour, like right before the leaves turn.
Yeah.
Sun's still out. I'm in shorts.
It's still warm.
Yeah. I can do it.
Real quick, Bruce and Brittany, I know you're still following along because Brittany says she may come up this weekend, try glass, and she's going to get a charcuterie board. So, Brittany, what would be your rating on this beer on a 2-point scale
Yeah.
as we wait on Brittany's reply. Which, remember, she's 7 seconds behind us.
All right, cool. So, will we just come back to that one, or are we just waiting?
She has to type it in, so we might as well just kind of. We'll pause for a moment, but then we're gonna move
And then
on.
Modern Times is going to come up next.
Yeah.
So we will come back to Brittany and Bruce's rating. Bruce, why don't you go ahead and start sending yours as well? We'll move on to the Modern Times.
Cool. What I didn't even rate the first one.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that.
Mr. Ambitious over here. Jesus
Brit-
Christ.
Did Rob just lose his bid for Mr. Congeniality?
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
You
No,
know
I
what?
mean, what is up with all this ambition in this room
So-
tonight?
so-
I'll tell you, it is a Grigio in here, man.
Yeah, I am sensing a lot of egregio in this room tonight, and we need to fix this right now.
By the way, Brittany gives it a 1.4 as well.
Oh,
Cool, because I'm going to disappoint all of you and give it a 0.75.
Brittany, I told you
Really?
we agree on something.
I think it is a terrible sour.
Do you really?
I think it is drinkable. As far as sours go, I would have loved to see Crystal Coast have their own flexibility to do their own thing with the beer. With it being a collab brew, I feel like they were confined. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I feel like had they had full control of it, it would have been better.
I'm really floored, I have to say.
I love this speech. I just renamed this episode.
I'm really floored. I really am. Just because I know
It's
your taste-
drinkable. It's drinkable.
Well, I'm floored because I know your taste in sours and my taste in sours normally line up fairly well.
I know what they can do with sours, and I feel like they were constrained. This is also kind of my expectations of the brewery themselves, as well toyed into this. But I would say that I would give it a 0.75 because I feel like they were held back.
Okay.
Josh and Crystal Coast explore leasing and get turned down on the rental application.
That's not
So Brittany followed up with, it's not terrible. It's an easy drinking sour. Bruce came in with, I think it's a good sour as far as sours go. Y'all know me and my IPAs. It was juicy, almost a sticky finish that sticks with you.
I mean, it was a solid beer. I just, I had to give it that rating because I know what that brewery is capable of. We just gave them a 2.0, 2 weeks ago with the maple.
Oh, we love
That's true.
We
That's
love
true.
their brewery.
I know what they're capable of doing, and I feel like that was not their expression of that beer.
I can understand that rating because I gave somebody else a rating similar to that based on other product that they made.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
Like, it rolls that
And
way.
Bruce rolls with the 1.1 on it.
Okay,
1.1,
thanks for
Bruce.
enumerating your opinion. We love having the participation. Let's move on to that next one.
Cool. Modern Times. What is
Modern
it, Mythic
Times.
Words?
Mythic Worlds.
And
Oh,
so-
Mythic Worlds.
I-
that changes everything.
Absolutely. It is one of the coolest titles for a beer I've seen in a while.
Brittany and
was
Bruce,
thinking
go ahead and type in your
I was
ratings and I'll read
thinking
them off when we
mythic
get through.
words like forgiveness, hope, love, happiness, and all those things. But mythic worlds, that's like Mars, Jupiter, Uranus.
No, those exist. I think this is like
The only way it would have been funny is if you would have farted when you said Uranus.
what are like
I did.
Rob, what are some
It was
planets?
just
What are
really
some planets
quiet.
from Star Trek?
I don't know.
Like where are the Klingons from? Where do the
Klingon?
Romulans hair from?
Romulus?
Those are mythic worlds.
Get out of here. Get out of my fantasy.
out of my fantasy.
Okay, so your rating, Josh.
No. So my rating on Mythic Worlds is this is an absolutely excellent IPA. It's closer to the West Coast. Is it a little bit of a hazy IPA? Yeah. Did they filter it all the way? No. Do we filter our IPAs nowadays? Not really. So I can't really hate them for it. I'm going to give them a solid 1.75 on this.
Nice.
excellent execution. The hop profile, malt profile, everything, the execution on this IPA is really good. We had nothing bad to say about it. It did not sit bad on my stomach.
That's right.
Excellent execution of a beer. Like, when you say this is that beer and you do it that way, it's really good. The only thing that I could have possibly wanted more was maybe more aromatics, maybe more hop flavor, I don't know, or maybe more malt flavor. It's the only thing holding it back from a 2.0. What was the price tag on this one, by the way?
$4.50.
It's a little pricey.
That's modern times, though. That's their...
I mean, they are a little bit of a pricier beer.
They make the trophy wife, Josh.
1 point.
No, they don't.
No, Gizmo makes the
No, they
trophy
don't.
wife, dude.
No, they don't. Neither one of them do.
No, that would be the American public, and the media makes the trophy wife.
See, we were both wrong.
Trophy Brewing.
I thought that was microwaves and porcelain.
Obviously, the contrails have gotten to you. Are you wearing your foil hat today?
There's foil on
Under
the
the
inside of
beanie?
my beanie, yeah, but maybe I need to wrap it around the
I'm
outside.
actually glad they make this other thing that I goofed up and mixed up with. That's fine. Josh, I cut you off. Your rating total summation 175.
175, excellent execution of a beer. I have no qualms with this. I wish it was cheaper, but I mean that's not why it's 175. It's just if you made it even hoppier, even I don't know, like go a little bit one step ahead and it'd be like, damn, this would be a damn good IPA. Now, honestly, 2.0.
Nick, before you
he's
read yours,
like ready to take it up. I'm gonna let Josh sit on his 175.
let me, if you wouldn't mind.
No, that's fine.
Brittany got her rating through, so I'd like to do hers before you, and I expect probably Bruce will get...
By all means, Rob, interject.
Well, I expect Bruce will get his rating in so that I can read Bruce's rating between you and me. So Brittany says, first off, she says, can I rate the Rosé IPA? That's a solid 2.0. And then she says, I will give the Modern Times a 1.5. I found it to be a clean tasting IPA that had a clean finish. The aftertaste didn't hang around like some others she's had. So that's Brittany's rating. On to you.
Yeah, my guess is that Brittany is actually a West Coast IPA fan. That's just listening to what happened there. I watched her drink that brewed IPA the other day. I'm hearing her response to this. Like, stick with those West Coast IPAs, girl. And you know what? That's right in my home zone. I learned how to drink craft beer on West Coast IPAs. I was living in Washington State. We had a tavern with 42 taps on the walls. To get the other 2 taps, you had to ask for the laundry key, and there were 2 more beer taps in the laundry room. It was awesome. You could literally sit in there and serve yourself. They weren't the best beers in the laundry room, but out front, I mean, we had Black Butte, we had the everything, you name it, from Mendocino straight on through Skagit Valley on the West Coast. We had every craft beer you could point out, all the Yakima hops, all this. So I learned how to drink these IPAs, and a good IPA, and Josh was touching absolutely on this. A good IPA to me, just the only 2 things I remember is like what it smelled like and what it felt like. Because a really good IPA makes its like taste profile disappear as you drink it. You forget you drank it. You look down, you go, where's my beer? Who drank my beer? Like it just disappears. It goes down so easy. And that's why they designed them that way. They have a little more alcohol. The goal is to make a thing that by volume you didn't need as many, and because they were shipping them. It was an export product, and it got you there faster. The higher alcohol kept the thing fresher. So the goal behind IPAs has always been this fresh tasting, this hoppy, this high alcohol thing. The American take on this, take it all the way to California, put it in the middle of wine country, and tell them to brew some beer. My God, of course it costs $4.50. It's a pint can, so number one, I'm happy with that. You can pour a pint out of a can, taste just as good as a lot of draft brews that you'll find on the local scene around here. I'm happy with that at $4.50. I'm going to echo Josh's numerical rating, 175, okay, which is basically almost 2 thumbs up. The only reason I'm probably not at 2.0 is I didn't get to taste this with a fresh keg on tap. I think those Galaxy hops would really show out, and that dustiness on top of everything that Josh was talking about would show up, and it would just kill. The combination of skunkiness with lime, with herbaceousness, this is the IPA lover's beer. If you think you like IPA, drink this beer.
Yeah, this on a fresh tap. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you said 175?
175. I'm right with Josh on
All right.
this.
So from one hophead to the next hophead, Bruce, affectionately known as Redbeard.
Redbeard.
Captain Redbeard?
He says good aroma, not overly fruity smelling. Follows up with a good flavor and good finish, not hoppy. I like this beer. Give it a 1.6 easy. Better hazy than I've had recently.
So Bruce is a NEPA fan. He's still going to classify this as hazy, which, you know what? Bruce is as NEPA as they come. Guy grew up in maritime provinces and moved to the southern East Coast. He knows Upper East Side to the Lower East Side, straight through. His juicies to his hazies, his NEPAs. If he says it's a hazy,
is that like Newfoundland or Nova Scotia?
I think he's a Halifaxer, but I'll let him get into that.
Or is Bruce gonna hit me the next time he sees me?
He's gonna show you what a red line is.
Yeah, he's going to take that Labatt blue hat and like pull it down over your eyes.
He's less Slater
pull
Kenny
your shirt
and more
over your
Trailer
head
Park Boys.
and give you a good old hockey whoop ass.
All
This is
right.
not Northern Ontario we're talking about.
Brittany is like, oh.
Which, by the way, where is Ontario?
Look,
So before we upset anybody else,
I'll let you slap him, Bruce.
I'm going to go for my rating. I really dug this. I'm not a huge IPA fan. I'm coming around a little bit to them. But this definitely sat really well with me. Like you said, tasted well, didn't sit heavy, was light to drink, easy to drink. When you were talking about alcohol content, and I just went and looked at it, I was like, oh wow,
yeah, it's a 7.5.
It's a 7.5. Yeah, I was like, wow.
It is
that
almost
really
a dipper.
Yeah, that really didn't come across that way.
What do we say, 7.8? That's like where dipper starts.
Yeah,
it's split now.
Brittany says, Josh, those are fighting words, so I'm guessing Bruce is coming after you.
Bruce is gonna slap the crap out of you. You're gonna show up with a maple leaf like tattooed on your
look,
cheek.
look. I will say it on there right now. Bruce gets one free, absolutely free slap. As long as a human being is here to record it.
Are you sure you want to do that? The first bar fight I ever saw was in Canada. They were ready to kill each other.
Look.
So, and this might be why, because Bruce said he's from New Brunswick, but you can only piss off a Canadian if you call him French and he's not from Quebec.
Okay, well, I've never. It is Quebec, right?
Quebec.
Yeah. I at least got that one right.
So New Brunswick is different than Nova Scotia. That's good. He should slap me too for red
is
lion
Quebec
and
where
Brunswick.
Montreal's at?
So, anyway, I'm going to get back to my rating.
Where he's from is like better shellfish. The maple syrup's kind of
He went from New Brunswick to Old Brunswick.
well said.
So, Modern Times, Mythic Worlds, I'm going to give it a 1.6.
Yeah.
For me, I think that's pretty good for an IPA. It wasn't unenjoyable in the slightest bit to me. I liked it from first sip through, and I just had the last of it right before. 1.6 is good for me, and IPA wise, I think that's good. Baron Fini, Pinot Grigio.
Guys, par for the-
Valdez.
Do you mind if I start?
Yeah, go
Like,
for it, man.
Honestly, I feel like for some reason, whatever, my opinion matters the least on this. Why? You guys talked about going to the bar and just ordering Pinot Grigio. I'm not the guy who does that. I'm just going to order the beer. I'm going to order the IPA on tap and then work from there. However, you guys are opening a world to me that when you've got the neutral palate, you don't know the joint, you see their by glass menu. Maybe Pinot Grigio is a great place to be I don't know what I want. Give me a Pinot Grigio. I'll figure it out. like this. There's a lot behind that. I don't even know if I'm eating meat yet. Let me find out.
You would really be the guy to order Pinot Grigio at an Irish pub?
Yeah, and that's how they'd know I showed up with my date.
Okay.
So that's the
Name's
second part of this. This is a very popular wine up here. Not trying to brag about
Good night,
the
Brittany.
office, but we do see a lot of women customers up here. And I'm not just going to like throw male, female characteristics over the wine world. That is horribly wrong to do.
I like PEI oysters, Bruce.
Yeah.
But didn't want to interrupt your tasting.
PEI is a different island.
PEI, yeah.
Yeah, Prince
Well,
Edward
he
is a different
was talking about all
province.
the Maritimes.
Yes. How many?
New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and yes, Montreal is in Quebec.
Montreal is in Quebec.
Yes, it's
all right,
across
that
the St.
explains
Lawrence.
it all. All right, cool.
All right, but
And Quebec is in between him and Ontario.
so
Hey, while you're at it, ask him where Calgary's at.
So you want me to like
that's
wrap?
kind of West Coast.
That's
It's
at
not
the foot
Vancouver.
of the Rocky Mountains. Am I wrong?
Well, Vancouver's the West Coast.
God damn it! We got to put him on the Trans-Canadian Railroad.
So back to your Pinot Grigio rating.
The Pinot Grigio rating is awesome. This is not the best wine I've ever tasted, but as far as Pinot Grigios go that put out that are true to form, this thing is right there. And I'm just gonna sit. Anytime I start talking this, you guys already know the number about to come out of my mouth, don't you? It's 1.5.
Okay.
You just if Nick hits
I
you
was
with
gonna
1.5,
go. I was gonna go 1.4, but
yeah.
for
If
you,
Nick hits you with a 1.5, you're not gonna miss. Your friends won't hate you. They're gonna come back. It may not be your favorite wine. You might decide to choose to have like this and something else at your table. But by all means, start with this and then find out who's okay with this and then serve the bitter stuff. Because this will help cut out the fray. This is a great food wine. This is a great party wine. This is a great gift wine. You will find so much out about your friends just by serving them this wine. And they won't not drink it.
Josh.
1.5.
Yeah, so Barone Fini, I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 1.5. To echo Nick, you will not offend a human being.
On the fucking planet.
Well,
Kill me, Facebook.
Well, I didn't say the F word, but I mean...
Is that
you
what it
won't-
sounded like through the mic? Wow, that's weird.
Oh, man, those mucking dogs over there. Awful. Man.
Awful.
The
Go on, go on.
dogs in the muck over there, man, they're awful.
The dog is in the muck. However,
Yeah,
I want to let the dog not in the muck roll on here.
Yeah, no, 1.5, Barone Fini, completely inoffensive. It's a solid Pinot Grigio, especially for the price point. What are we looking at, like 13 a bottle? You cannot go wrong with this. Like, this is a solid, easy drinking white wine. I would be hard pressed to find a human being who says they drink wine that would dump this glass if you poured it for them.
I do have a question for Josh before we move on.
Alright.
Because I feel like he's answering as Josh, the wine drinker, the wine taster right now. I want to know.
I don't know where anything in Canada is.
This has nothing to do with Canada. This has to do with the kitchen. And you do know where that is.
Oh, no, I definitely know where the kitchen is. But do
So-
they have kitchens in Canada?
Do you think a lot of people talk about Italian white wines as being like an inspiration in the kitchen? Does Barone Fini get Josh the chef thinking about what to do next? Like, well, oh man, is it an inspiration? Is this a white wine that I don't want to cook with it in the pan? I want to cook with it in my glass and find out what's next, you know?
No, my question to you, my counter question would be, where did you hear that wine became an inspiration for chefs in the kitchen?
From the bakers.
From the bakers. And the dessert makers.
And the bussers and the dishwasher and anybody else who stuck their face back in the kitchen tonight.
Yeah. So all the people.
So-
The guy who takes out our garbage was wondering who's drinking all this white wine.
So Nick, I'm just going to let you in on a little secret. The bakers in the restaurant, they're gone before opening time.
Yeah, so is the white wine.
Yeah, but yeah, you lost me at bakers. I need people that are there that do real work.
My God.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah, no.
I love a good food fight
Trust me.
because I hold the glassware.
Hey, trust me. A chef's knife is a lot sharper than a baker's spatula.
Yeah, but
Okay.
but nobody ever
But
threatens the
aside-
dishwasher.
Aside from that,
But you digressed.
inspiration.